We are again getting anything but Jackboys 2. We are getting big collabs with, at this point, with everybody, but there's still no new hints on the record or when it is dropping, but obviously it is time for another Cactus Jack update video because we still don't have the record and it's really gotten a little bit quieter while there's been major news on other fronts, so let's jump straight into this.
If you want to stay up to date with everything surrounding hip-hop, make sure to subscribe and also become a part of this community by joining our Discord server in the description.
You can now sign up for my free newsletter with the first link in the description. It comes every Sunday and recaps everything that's been happening in hip-hop over the past week, so make sure to do that. So as I said, the last time we talked about Jackboys 2 was about 1.5 weeks ago. This was at a point where it seemed like the teasers and the little hints added were getting more and more. It seemed like we were getting to some point that would actually see the release of this record. If you go to the shop website right now, where you can see obviously the vinyls, you can pre-order it. It says at the top, Jackboys 2 coming soon. Pre-order now. We still also don't have any new info on the shipping status of the pre-ordered vinyls and the pre-ordered merch that we got a couple of weeks ago, where we thought this was starting to get, sent out. That has not been updated as of right now, so let's see how all of that develops. But we have to talk about the new collabs that we've just gotten confirmed from Cactus Jack. They just announced something 2 hours ago at the point of recording this, and also another major thing that we got to take a look at now, because they have a collab coming out with clothing, obviously, with apparel, sweatshirts, zippers, everything, with all major sport leagues. They have the NFL, we have the MLB, we have the NHL, and the NBA. All of this is coming out this fall, 2025. And there's some pictures you can take a look at. It all looks pretty cool. It says, Cactus Jack, all leagues, rep your city. New York and Houston teaser available exclusively at Fanatics Fest NYC Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you're there this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you can take a quick preview of the New York and Houston stuff that they have coming out. But I do believe they will have this for every city that is represented in all of these leagues. That is very huge. It is one of the biggest merch deals you can really strike. This is yet another stepping stone in this empire that they're building. The FC Barcelona jersey thing was already pretty big, but this is yet another step bigger. So let's see where all of this goes. Obviously, the first thing that people, told in the comments was, drop the record. We don't care about all of this. All of this is cool, but where is Jackboys 2? And a drop date, it's not a release date. It's kind of like when the merch is dropping, a fall 2025. Immediately made people question whether this would have any effect on Jackboys 2. Does this mean that Jackboys 2 is also dropping only after fall of 2025? That is a big question, obviously. And it didn't stop there, because as I just said, just 2 hours ago at the point of recording this, Cactus Jack announced that we would have Travis Scott as the first ever chief visionary. So he's not an executive designer or executive producer. He's a chief visionary, a CVO, and he has a collab with Oakley, the, sunglass brand. And they have this collab, this merch collab coming up called Day Zero. You can, go to cactusjack.com right now and actually take a look at this. They also put up this whole trailer. It's crazy the way that they're all doing all of this. They also have this Jack and Oakley collab logo. It looks pretty cool, but it's yet another thing. They're doing anything but dropping the record. But announcing these two collabs within the span of 24 hours is pretty big, and I think that goes under a lot of people's radar because they don't take a look at what they're doing when it comes to these company deals, when it comes to these brand deals. But in this case, that's a huge step. We really can't underestimate how big of a step this is when it comes to building this entire empire that Cactus Jack has become, and we have to give Travis credit for that. Now also, if you haven't been living under a rock, you know that there was Summer Smash Festival by Cole Bennett, Lyrical Lemonade, this past weekend, and while Thug was performing there, we had this mysterious caption that said, Young Thug x Travis Scott, and people were like, what is happening? And then Thug brought out Travis, and he performed Fiend. It was a pretty cool moment. All of this, the entire festival is pretty good. I guess it gets better every year. People that were there that I've seen that, they really liked it. They thought it was a great festival. But this was obviously the last big performance that we've gotten from Travis. And I mean, Dawn is still performing here and there, but it's not like they told us anything about the record. We still don't have any new news on this besides the caption that we talked about 1.5 weeks ago. But even that has quieted down over the past couple of days. Over the past week, we hadn't gotten any of these direct hints like JB2 coming soon, any of that. It's really just on the website right now, Jackboys 2 coming soon, and the last captions that we had where they were kind of subliminally hinting at it, but not really outright saying, okay, it's coming then. So we really don't know. But obviously, it was pretty cool to see Thug bringing out Travis. That was a big moment. Now, also, what's been going on, you know that I'm very excited for the new Clips record, Pusha T and No Malice. Let God Sort 'Em Out, that is coming out July 11th. There will be another video coming out just in a couple of days about it because they just dropped another great single with So Be It that is also performing really well commercially. But there's been also a little beef going on between Pusha T and Travis, with Pusha saying that Travis kind of did them wrong when he played them Utopia right before release, and he left out Drake's verse on Meltdown where he's dissing Pharrell, and Pusha is saying that, you know, he left it out intentionally because he didn't want to stir up any negative emotions there. But in the end, we know that Drake only sent his verse very shortly before the release of Utopia, so at that point where he played it for Pusha at the Louis Vuitton headquarters in Paris, by the way, where they also recorded the entirety of the record, which is also a pretty cool detail about Let God Sort 'Em Out. I'm very excited for that record. So he likely didn't even have that verse at that point in time. So it's really this whole thing going on. Also, Pusha said that he didn't respect Kanye enough, but then he's also kind of contradicting himself because he's also going against Kanye. So it's really a big situation with maybe at the end a lot of nothing. We'll talk about it a little bit more in the Clips video that is coming out. But that's also been going on around Travis. Maybe he also wanted to kind of keep quiet around all of that, kind of let that settle down before talking about new music again. Let's see where all this takes us. The big thing are the new collabs. The big thing is the every big sports league in the world collab, and also the Oakley collab that he's got coming up as the chief visionary, which is also pretty big. I mean, that, as I said, in the span of like maybe a little over 24 hours, announcing all of that, maybe within 2 days, that's really insane. That is very big moves they're making right there. And let's see when maybe the next appearance is where Travis is getting brought out, and let's see if he talks about Jackboys 2 at that point. And maybe we'll get a release date at some point. I mean, now it's looking like July, which is kind of sad because we talked about May and we thought June at latest. But now it's June, and it's the last possible Friday in June this Friday, because next week is already July. So let's see where all this takes us. Let me know what you think about all of this that we discussed today, about the merch collabs, about Thug bringing out Travis at Summer Smash Festival, and also about the beef between Pusha T and Travis. Let me know all your thoughts on this in the comments down below.
If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.